Military snapshot. The medical helicopter has come a long way since its inception in the early 1950s. And while the earliest models, the Bell 47 and the Sikorsky S-51, were extensively used during the Korean War, there was a lot of room and need for advancement.
Helicopter technology has evolved, so has aeromedical evacuation. Helicopters were first used primarily reconnaissance, then they developed into an assault role, then they developed into an attack role, and of course, aeromedical evacuation has followed that also. They were only able to first take a patient from the field to the hospital initially. And as the aircraft and technologies increased, they were able to start minor treatments. And here with this HH-60L Blackhawk, we can now perform major treatment up to minor surgeries as we get the patients en route back to the hospital.
The modern Blackhawk has become the Army's frontline utility helicopter, based on its impressive capabilities for air assault, air cavalry, and aeromedical evacuation.
The HH-60 has a domestic mission and a military mission. Here within the States, we are able to interact with the police, with the radios that we have on board here, and with the medical facilities, and any kind of disaster relief that we do. We have a Blackhawk here to take overseas. What we have is speed, 150 knots. We have a 17,000-pound aircraft. We can haul 22 to 24,000 pounds depending on what we're doing. We have a lot of aircraft survivability equipment on board to deter infrared missiles, to deter any kind of radar from tracking us. So we have all the capabilities of the standard Blackhawk in addition to these HH-60 items also.
While the Blackhawk is being successfully used for medical evacuation, there were a number of areas within the cabin that needed improvement to meet the needs of today's modern battlefield.
In the past, when I first learned to be a flight medic, we used the Huey helicopters. And if we ever had a patient who went into a cardiac arrest, or if you needed to intubate the patient, you either had to land the helicopter or you had to physically remove him from the stretcher and place him on the floor so you could have better access to the patient.
The first area of the Blackhawk HH-60L's transformation was in the main cabin space. Here, a litter lift system has been implemented that allows for rapid changes in configuration to adapt to changing mission requirements.
The litter lift system can be configured as either 6 ambulatory patients or 6 litter patients, or a combination of 3 ambulatory patients and 3 litter patients. Or it can be totally removed so that we can haul medical equipment for assistance out to areas that may need it. Now, say for an example, if we get a call of a mission, we get a 9-line medevac, and we have multi-casualties. There could be like gunshot wounds to the head, chest, abdomen, or some could have limbs missing. We can configure the aircraft so that we can haul 3 litter patients and some ambulatory patients, depending upon the need of the soldiers or the people at that time.
In the past, several items needed to be hand-carried onto the chopper before each mission. Today, the Onboard Oxygen Generation System, or OBOGS, provides a limitless supply of 93% to 96% oxygen for patient use, frees medic from limitations of a bottled gas system, and eliminates logistic resupply of cylinders. The OBOGS and a suction system are both readily available thanks to their integration into the door panels. This, in combination with modular lighting that is night vision compatible, allows the medic to operate at optimal levels during all possible conditions.
The HH-60 Lima comes with several onboard systems. One of those is an ECS, which is an environmental control system. It has heating and air conditioning, which is really a nice feature, especially if you were deployed such as countries as Saudi Arabia or Iraq or anywhere in the Middle East where the temperatures could reach 130, 140 degrees. Because when you're flying with the cabin doors closed, the temperature inside the aircraft can reach up to 170 degrees. So with this ECS system, it maintains a very comfortable level of temperature inside the aircraft so it doesn't cause further problems for the patient. All the equipment on this aircraft is very readily accessible for the medic so that they can perform their job or their duties anywhere, whether it be a natural disaster such as a hurricane or in a theater of operation for military use.
While the life-saving attributes of the HH-60L are paramount, major improvements have been made to both communications and display technologies in the cockpit as well.
You cannot have too much information, especially as an aeromedical pilot, whether you're doing a medevac mission or combat search and rescue and so forth with this aircraft. What you have in the HH-60L is the capability to put on the screens, either the FLIR for terrain avoidance, your navigational data, your mission data, weather data, your PLS data. All this information is very readily available. And it doesn't matter whether it's in the middle of the night and you're under NVGs, or if it's in the daytime with direct sunlight, everything is easy to read and is easily managed within the cockpit.
A standard crew is a pilot, a co-pilot, a crew chief, and a flight medic. The pilot is typically one pilot on the controls, while another pilot navigates and handles radios. Crew chief in the back responsible for running the rescue hoist and aircraft clearance and avoidance. The flight medic obviously handles patient care when there's a patient on board. Once you throw a patient in the mix when you're actually on a mission, there's a lot of radio communication going back and forth. It has to be, crew coordination has to be simplified. With the radios that we have, it allows the 4 people in that to work as one and are able to load share some of the responsibility as far as radios and allow the flight medic to be talking to the hospital, for example, while the pilots are still up on the radios talking to air traffic control. I understand that there's a wireless ICS system that eventually will be coming down for us to use. That'll be great for the back of the aircraft. With the patient on board, with IV bags and different medical equipment, it ends up being a lot of wires and cables. For the crew to be able to talk without being tethered and move back and forth and allow us to work on the patient, that'll be a great help.
When performing life-saving operations, there are several obstacles a pilot must overcome: battlefield obscurance, weather conditions, night travel. To aid the pilot, the Blackhawk has been equipped with a FLIR thermal imaging system.
The unit was very proficient at using NVGs prior to picking the aircraft up. But as we got the HH-60s and began to use the FLIR in addition as a terrain avoidance system, it was tremendous, the added safety factor that gives the crew and the confidence that it gives the crew when we're dealing with low visibility, bad weather conditions. When you're using the NVGs, you see ambient light. When you're using the FLIR, you're looking at heat sources. So understanding that there's a difference between the two bits of information that you see, that is the first step in learning how to use both systems together. But once that's accomplished, that is a tremendous tool in getting the mission accomplished and in doing it in a safe manner.
Once the Blackhawk has reached the injured party, there is often hazardous terrain to be faced, making landing difficult or impossible. In order to extract a soldier from a hazard area, the Blackhawk has been equipped with a high-performance external electric hoist system.
The rescue hoist we use for a confined area, somewhere that's not large enough for us to get in and land the aircraft. We can lower down the medic on a cable to get down to the ground to the patient. At 295 feet of usable cable, it gives us quite a bit of space to do that. 600-pound max capacity at 350 feet per minute allows us to put the patient and the medic on the cable and still use it at full speed. Here domestically, for floods and other natural disasters, we use it, and it's a great tool for us here in the state, as well as overseas for minefield extractions and also just for confined area extractions.
Very fortunate to be with the West Virginia National Guard and to be one of the first units to fly this aircraft. The new technologies are amazing. We've put them to the test both domestically here with state duty and flood duties in the state, and with deployment, doing our medevac mission while we were overseas. It's very exciting to be able to fly with this new technology, and I'm glad to see that it is getting fielded to the rest of the Army, because there will be lives saved with this.
The greatest thing to me about this is we can train our wartime mission every day. We're here to save people's lives, being able to help out people in our community in floods and natural disasters. It gives a lot of opportunity to do our wartime mission and still be able to help out the community here in West Virginia.
As the need for emergency medical care continues to grow, both domestically and overseas, it is the hope of many military personnel that more medevac helicopters will be seen in the skies overhead, ready to provide life-saving assistance where needed. For more information about Army technologies that protect and aid our soldiers, please visit www.arng.army.mil. Air Methods was selected as a featured guest of the Military Snapshot series based on the Blackhawk HH-60L's ability to improve life-saving medevac services for American and Allied troops. We would like to thank them for their assistance in creating programming that is designed to both educate and motivate our troops. Air Methods would now like to share some technical information related to both the current status and the future development of the HH-60L.
It's very important for us to be part of the HH-60L program. The aircraft is a life-saving platform for the United States military, for all the forces. And Air Methods has been saving lives since 1980 as an operator of air medical aircraft. And so to be part of this program meets our mission goal, which is to save lives.
To ensure the highest level of quality in every Blackhawk that is provided to our troops, Air Methods maintains a state-of-the-art production facility.
A majority of the equipment that's in the HH-60L is actually manufactured in our own facility. We have machine shops, sheet metal manufacturing, electronics, and we can almost do it all in-house. Some of the more critical elements or more hazardous elements, such as processing, we send outside, but most of it is done in-house so we can control the quality of our product. We are an ISO 9001 certified facility, so that ensures that we have the management processes and procedures in place to ensure that the final product that goes out meets the customer's expectations so that it can perform to their requirements, and it's reliable and it's durable so that this aircraft can be there when the soldier needs it.
Every element of the HH-60L was designed to work together to preserve life. Air Methods' contribution was of particular importance based on several unique needs that the military faced.
Following Operation Desert Storm, the U.S. Army Surgeon General identified their medical evacuation forces as a major deficiency. The medical evacuation forces simply could not keep up with the pace of the military activity. The UH-1s, the veteran aircraft from the Vietnam era, simply could not keep up with the pace of the action. So as a result, they needed an upgraded medevac platform. So Air Methods became involved and was able to provide a solution which was not only a good medevac solution to provide a critical level of care on board the aircraft, but allowed the aircraft to change from one mission configuration to the other. We were able to take that aircraft and without removing any equipment, and within 2 minutes, you could go from one mission configuration to the other, from medical evacuation to personnel transport to cargo transport within minutes. And since that all the equipment stayed on board that aircraft, they always knew they'd have the equipment they needed at any given time. And this is the type of designing that we've been doing for 15, 20 years. And by being able to take that and apply it to this aircraft, we've been able to provide a very effective and high-value asset to the United States Army.
While the current capabilities of the HH-60L are impressive, new improvements are on the horizon to meet the demands of our servicemen and women.
The next step for the HH-60L will be the transition to the HH-60M. This is going to be an improved UH-60 platform. The aircraft will have upgraded engines, new dynamic components, a new type of airframe construction, all in the intent to get a lighter weight, better performing aircraft. Along with that, the medical interior will be upgraded so that it will then improve user interface, make it lighter weight, and address some operational deficiencies that we've identified with our lessons learned in Iraq and Afghanistan. Some of those include improvements to the oxygen generation system and delivery system to provide more oxygen to the patients, improved communication systems within the cabin, and then changes to our lighting system. All the crews have been staying and using night vision compatible lighting within the cabin, and we're going to make that a priority. This will ensure that the HH-60M will remain the premier medical evacuation platform for the U.S. Army for the next 20 to 30 years.
To learn more about how Air Methods technologies help support our troops, please visit our website at www.airmethods.com or call us at 303-792-7453.